What's up everybody, Chris back with another Dragon Ball Super deck profile video. And today I'm going to be going over the deck that I played at our locals over the weekend here. And I'm getting second place, got top 4 with Mecha Frieza. It's a very different Mecha Frieza build than you probably have seen anywhere. I'm pretty confident of that at least. It's a very fun version of Mecha Frieza. It's something that I've been utilizing, trying to find different ways to play Mecha Frieza. Since I do not own Xenocell, and you guys have probably seen a few deck profiles on the channel where we're trying different ideas, and this is a different one. Here, I'm sure you can see by the title of the video. It is a Height of Mastery Mecha Frieza build. 54 cards. I think my side deck had 14 cards in it because I actually forgot one of the other cards in there, so I just said I'll just run 14. But the deck played really well. I only lost to Reboot Gohan, which is a very toss-up matchup just for any deck. If you don't draw the cards you need to shut down, Reboot Gohan, you just lose. So that's kind of what happened. But had a really good match against Dark Broly. Ended up beating Dark Broly 2-1. Played Skillless Gohan. I believe I 2-0'd Skillless Gohan. We played Shinran. We ended up going game 3 with Shinran. And last turn of the game, we were actually on turns. I ended up cracking him for game. And then we played Reboot Gohan in the finals, technically for undefeated, and we ended up losing. But I do think this deck has a lot of potential. Some minor tweaking, some cards that I would love to add to this deck. Would make it a little bit better, a little more consistent. But yeah, so we'll go over the deck here. So Mecha Frieza, if you guys don't know, when you guys attack, you draw, and then you can activate extra card, mono yellow extra cards once per turn, and you can take a life, and then 1-drop extra cards become free, 2 drops become 1, 3 drops become 2, that kind of thing. Because you get to remove one specific yellow from them, and it only works with mono yellow extra cards. You are a hybrid awakened leader, so you restand 1, draw 1, and on this side you can activate extra cards as much as you want. When you do activate a mono yellow extra card, you can tap. Is it a mono yellow extra card? Yeah. So when you activate a mono yellow extra card, you can tap one of your opponent's battle cards. You swing, you draw, and then you can any mono yellow extra card that is 2 or less is free now. So any of your 2 or less cards are free if you take a life. So that's the basic of the leader here. So the your turn 1. Play should always be one of these 2 cards here. So Planet Vegeta and Universe 9 Assemble. I run a split 3/3. Both are great. Planet comes out for free, which then allows you to search your deck for a 4 or less Saiyan, and then you have the 1 energy where you can play that Saiyan if you need to. And then Universe 9 is free on the backside. On your unawakened side, it's a 1 cost. You take a life, draw 2, and then if your opponent's tapped, you can play out a Universe 9 card off of that. The 2 Universe 9 cards that I ran were 2 Iron Drakes. Definitely think I should have played more, because I would always see one and then the other one would get in my hand and I can't play it off of it, so it's basically just ends up being charge or combo power. Definitely would run this out of 4 of. I'm going to try to figure out a way to fit 4 of in this deck. I don't own Basil anymore, but Basil would be another really good card to add into this deck. It's just too expensive right now. I'm just going to wait for it to get reprinted. The number 1 card I would play off Planet Vegeta is the one of Black Mass Saiyan. It was never in my life, which was great. I would just play the Planet Vegeta and play this, and then if they don't have removal, this is just going to sit there and it's going to cause a problem. It caused a problem in the Gohan matchup. Made it so that Skillless Gohan couldn't really play anything without having to discard cards. Works against Shinran if you remove the 9-drop. When they go to play the ball back from the drop area, they have to drop 2 cards. And when they use their final ability, they end up dropping cards. I think at the I think it was our game 2 against Shinran. He did his turn 6 where he plays out everything, and he ended up playing out like 4 cards under 15k or at 15k or lower, so he had to drop 8 cards. He only had 2 cards in his hand, so he had to drop his hand, but I think he still beat me that game. That was one game that he did win, but just really funny. It's just a really good card. One of is fine. You don't need it to clunk up the deck just because you have Planet Vegeta, so you can search them out. So it's as long as it's not in your life, you're set. My main finisher in the deck, honestly, was this Vegeta Unison. It is nuts. I don't care what anybody says about Mecha Frieza. This card alone makes Red Broly and Dark Broly a favorable matchup for Mecha Frieza. Not including any extra cards, not including anything else. This card alone can beat Dark Broly. The longer the game goes on, should be better for Mecha Frieza, depending on what you're playing. Depending on what the Dark Broly is too, it could be bad. But you basically have till turn 6 to beat and to beat Dark Broly. And this card buys you that long. So you play it, you can +1 to tap this card or a battle card to gain a marker, and then you can -1 to make it so your opponent can attack with cards greater than their current energy. Works against Shinron, works against Green Gotenks, Red Broly, any deck that runs a rival, any deck that goes up a chain, it just stops them in their tracks, and they have to kill this card. Now, if they kill it, of course, you're screwed, but the effect still lasts for that turn. So even if they remove this off the board, they still can't attack with higher battle cards. So it does put some damage on them. The -3, you can tap one of your opponent's energy and then gain 5k dual attack and double strike. Very, very good end game. This ended up winning me every one of my matchups almost. This is how I beat Dark Broly. Game 3, we were going into time. I swung with one of these on the board for double strike. I played a bunch of stuff. I had 2 extra energy. I played another one of these for my hand and then swung, comboed up to 20, and he couldn't out combo it. I used this to kill the Shinron player, game 3. It's really powerful. And what's nice is that there's not a lot of cards. There's one card in the entire game, and I believe that affects Unisons. Other than that, there's no other card that can interact with these. So if they don't negate this, and you have this as a double strike, and you're going for game, just combo everything on top of it, and your opponent has to out combo it because they can't kill this. They can't remove anything from it. It's just a great card. I believe the red cards though, you can if you reduce its power. If you can choose the Unison to reduce its power, it will lose a marker. So then, if it has 1 marker, it would die. But I think that only Wolfang Fist does that. And I don't even know if Wolfang Fist hits Unisons. I'm not 100% sure on that. Poutine. Once you tap a card, you can play it out for free. And when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or a counter, you get to choose one of your opponent's cards and choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. This card is awesome. So again, if any of these decks that play cards out by skills, so Dark Broly, they play a Broly out, even though they can't attack with it because of this, even if you don't have this out on board, you have this, you can just tap that card down. Extremely good. If they activate a counter skill, so if you're going in for game and your opponent negates something and they have a card out maybe for combo power for a blocker, you can just tap it down. Insane card. Has barrier, which is kind of the theme of this deck. As you'll see, most of our battle cards have barrier, and it's just it's a very good way for yellow to beat a lot of green decks because no one runs barrier removal currently. It's like just not a thing. Eventually people will catch on and barrier will stop being as problematic, but right now no one's really running barrier removal, so you run as many barrier cards as you can. I run a small slug package. I run 7 slug cards total, so 3 of the 1-drops for the big guy. You can technically use this to search out the 1-drop, so running it as 3 is okay, but this is all I needed. I saw these cards every game. Didn't matter. This guy draws, and then you can pay 1 yellow to play this out, put this in the dropper, or tap an energy. That's pretty good. When this card comes out, this card is a 20k barrier. When this card's in rest mode, your opponent cannot add cards to their hand by skills other than their leader. So they can't super combo, they can't draw ape, they can't use other abilities on the board to draw. So if it's a non-leader effect, they can't draw off of it. And since this has barrier, it's just going to sit there, and your opponent's going to be forced to remove this card. If they can't remove it, they can't draw, and they're just going to waste resources on it, and it's going to end up netting you a win generally. So 7 cards total in the slug package. 2 Prideful Transformation. This card is very good. The problem is it does not activate your Poutine, which is why I'm only running 2 of. This card puts the card being in play in rest mode. It says the card being played comes in rest mode, so it doesn't switch the card to rest mode, so Poutine doesn't activate, so you have to use Chapil or your Zamasu super combos or your leader effect in order to tap something. So that does kind of suck a little bit, but it is a good defensive tool. It's a 14k blocker as well that you can play it off of your Unison. But our Unison's going to be stuck at 2 markers for most of the game. So if you don't have 2 or more markers, you can't play this out for free. So then it's kind of a dead card. So it ended up being used for combo power most of the time. I think we played out maybe once or twice. Run a split of the 2-drop, quote unquote 2-drops. 2 Raiders Warcry, 2 Bergamo. They came in handy when I needed them. Bergamo helped me secure a game against Shinran. I was able to get both these in my hand, use Chapel, tap an energy, and then play both of these to tap the rest of their energy. Bardock can come in and for 2 energy, tap something, draw you a card, and then swing for double strike. There's a lot of pressure you can do with these. In the future, with this variation of the deck, maybe another Bergamo. Bardock's fine at 2. It's a very heavy card. It's a 2 cost counter combo power, and you don't want to use this on defense. These are more for offensive plays. Unless your opponent's not comboing a lot, then you can play this, tap something down, and then stop them from attacking. But 2 and 2 was fine. In this, I didn't really want to see it anymore with the current variation of the deck. 1 Sun Gohan Counterblast. This was my Saiyan super combo. So this is searchable off planet. So a lot of times before I was going for game, I would activate planet and search out this or any other Saiyan card for combo power. This card can come into play for 1 energy and tap something, which is super good because on your turn you can combo with this and kill something 5k or less in rest mode, or you're gonna choose it to draw a card. So it's a very good card for being able to trigger Bergamos, being able to trigger Poutines, and it's searchable off planet, so you can find it anytime during the game. So 1 is fine. We didn't need any more. So now we get to the Height of Mastery package. So I run 2 of the blocker and 2 of the barrier. Truthfully, if I'm being honest, I think this part of the package is terrible. I hate playing this card out. It did come in handy. Sometimes I would play it out for a blocker, but it's not good. There needs to be, hopefully when they announce the new Goku lineage stuff, hopefully there's something better you can use for a 1-drop than this, because the Bardock card that's banned may be a little bit better. It's just really bad. I never got a chance to actually play this part of the chain. I think I went up to this 1 game. It ended up getting removed by Smoke Dragon later on in the game, but I never got to actually go into Path of Greatness from the 2-drop. I don't know if it's because I only ran a 4 package of these. Maybe I didn't run enough planets and I just never saw it. But this part felt really, really bad. The nice thing is that they are 5k combo power, so I can use them later on in the game. But it just, this part I need to figure out a way to make this feel better, because the idea of this deck is to preferably turn 1, you find planet, you search out whichever one of these that you don't have. You play this guy, and then you swap into this. Now, since this has barrier, it's going to sit there for most of the game until you have Path of Greatness, where you can tap 2 and go into it, and then go into Height of Mastery and do all that kind of stuff. Since most people don't have barrier removal, it feels fine. But I just never saw the combination of both of these. And by the time I saw them, I could play out Path of Greatness already for 3 and still have other mana up for stuff, so it just never felt as viable as I thought it was going to. Free Path. 19k barrier that comes in, taps a card, and then draws you a card. This is very good. Very, very good card. I love this card. Like I said, more barrier cards, the better. Allows, you have Poutine on board, you have Slug on board, you have this on board, you have all these barrier cards your opponent can't get rid of. It becomes very, very annoying. But then for 4 energy, and you have Sparking 7, you can tap and go into your boss monster, which is Height of Mastery. Deflect, which is very, very important, and it's an 8-drop, so it cannot be killed by Frieza. And it comes into play, you get to tap 3 cards ignoring barrier, so either battle cards or energy, and then you swing twice for 35k triple strike. This ended up winning me my game 1 against Broly. I ended up comboing like 120k. It was pretty nuts. Came out against Shinran, I was able to tap energy. This card didn't win me the game, but on that turn I won the game with swinging with my Unison, but that's the only time I ever got to play it. I think this package, there's a better way to play it. I just need to find the better ratios to play it. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. I was playing Successor of Hope in the deck. This card here, it's a 0 cost search for a Goku lineage, basically. That's 3 or less. So you basically get 5 or less. So you basically search out everything but Height of Mastery. The problem was that on my Unawakened side, I would rather use Planet to search out cards, because you can only play one of these a turn, and since this is already 0 cost, There's no reason to play this. On the front side, on this side, it's great because you can just tap it for 0, use your leader ability, tap something, and you didn't use any energy, or you didn't use any energy, or you didn't use any life to play it because it's free already. So it's good then. I just got to figure out, like I said, the better way to play the How to Mastery package, because I think this is, if you don't have Xenocell, even if you have Xenocell, this is a very good endgame card to have. The 35k triple strike, dual attack that has deflect and that taps down cards. It's very, very powerful. Tip for anyone who's going to play something like this, unless you're playing the Jiren leader, that's the only one that I would say you can play this on turn 3 and tap out, because if you have your barrier little weenie guys out with Jiren, you can't die. With this deck, if you have a Nimbus in hand, you have enough combo power, you have Zamasus, you know, that type of thing, and you're not playing against a super aggro deck, you can play this on 3 and you probably will be fine. I would play this on turn 4. So turn 5, I'm going into How to Mastery at the very earliest. That's just my opinion. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to mess around with it. I may play this variation in the PPG tournament coming up. I don't know yet. It's I have to do some more thinking about it. One is Super Saiyan 4 Bardock fighting against Fate. This card is awesome. This card actually won me. It won me my game 3 against Dark Broly. It won me my first game against Gohan. I didn't see the rest of the tournament. But against Dark Broly, played out. It's an Overwhelm 6 for free, 25k dual attack. This card's better than Man on a Mission, so if you have it, play it. If not, obviously just play Man on a Mission. But being a 25k dual attack, meaning that your opponent can negate this and you can restand it. Now you have a secondary swing. Mix that with your Unison, who can also get dual attack, double strike. You're swinging, you know, 6-7 plus times on that turn, depending on what else you have on the board, of course. And you also can play both these out on the same turn as well. So you play this out first, tap all their cards, swing once. They do whatever, you restand it, and then you can play this out, swing twice, and then swing with this for game. Or combination of that mixed in with your Vegeta Unison, you can just tap all their stuff down, and then you can swing with 3 cards that all have dual attack. It gets pretty nuts. But one of those, it's a very expensive TP, or not, it's not a TP maybe. I think it is. Yeah, it's a promo. It's a very expensive card. It's like $25. I would probably just have one of them in the deck. If you can get a second one, not a bad idea. You guys saw this in my other Frieza video, but this is the best tech you can do in this deck. People are playing that Final Spirit Cannon Bardock card. Do not play that card. It is terrible. It's a 2-drop that you can tap a card, or you can KO something for less in rest mode. That's terrible. This card, Darkness Eye Beam, you choose your entire opponent's board and put it in rest mode. So what's better? So that card it's a free play, and you can choose one card and put it in rest mode, or you play this and tap their entire board. Obviously, neither one of them get through barrier, but the fact you can just tap their entire board with this is way better. So play this card. If you guys play this card and you guys saw it in this video, let me know. I just want to see how many people are going to end up playing this card, because I haven't seen a single person running this in any single deck profile. But play it. I would rather give this information out for Mecha Frieza players. You can't tap my cards anyway, so if you're in a mirror matchup, we all have barriers, so it doesn't matter. But everything else, man, you play against Red Broly, you play this, you tap their whole board down, no blockers, no combo power, and it's nuts. And then you play the Divine Transformation on top of that. The 5-drop deflect, double strike, blocker, can't be removed by skills. And then when this card comes into play, you choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO them. So you can remove all of their combo power off the board by spending 5 energy. So you do this, take a life, tap everything, and then play this for 5. I have a 25k double strike on board, and when this card attacks, you get to choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards if they decide to counter attack during this card's window. Actually, just during this card's when this card's on the field, right? Yeah, so when this card's on the field, your opponent activates a counterattack skill. You get to choose 2 of their cards, and they cannot switch to active mode during their next turn. So they can't use Senzu Beans, they can't restand them, just they can't do anything. Doesn't matter what skill they're playing. And then this card restands, so it becomes a 25k blocker. It's very good. This is kind of a win more strategy. Unless you have both of these in your hand and you can go for game that turn. Because then you also have this, and then you also have your Unison as well. So you can use your Unison to possibly tap their last energy. Use this to tap their entire board, play this, KO everything. So you can swing with this for double strike, swing with your Unison, then play this, swing twice with this, you know, so you have a lot of different options there. But this is a good tech way to win games. Maybe putting in another one of these. I think I have one of these in the sideboard. We'll check. But this is a great combination for turn 5, being able to just get rid of an entire board, especially if they're going wide. If you're playing against Vegex or Skillless or Red Broly, things like that. Not that you can get the turn 5 with Red Broly sometimes, but, you know, awesome tech. 1 Champa. I think 2 is the magic number for Mecha Frieza decks, so you can use this on your leader. This is how you're going to end up closing out games, especially if you don't have Xenocell. 3's monster super combos, since our 4th super combo is the Gohan. 3 felt fine. I think if you're playing a different strategy, rather than the Hidden Mastery strategy, I would run 4, just because you can tap stuff down and it just initiates so much of your deck. But currently with this deck, 3 is fine. 3 is fine. 3 Flying Nimbus, I'm going to be running 4 of this. I think any variation of yellow Mecha Frieza, you should be running 4 of this, because it's always going to be free. You can just play it off your leader ability, play it, pitch a card, and then use your leader ability to tap something else down, and it keeps you safe. Sparking negates in this deck are bad because you're taking life anyways, and I'm not a big fan of Time Magic because it doesn't stop Unisons or leader cards from swinging a second time, so it doesn't work against Reboot Gohan, so it does not have an effect in my opinion. So this is like the only one that you want to run. There's a Super Namekian Might extra card. It's a negate that I may end up looking into to run in the sideboard, but this is still the best negate that yellow has until Bandai decides to print us a better one. True Tyrannical Blows. Played it because I knew there was going to be a Red Broly player at the tournament. I never got to play against him, unfortunately. Battle card coming into play, 3 or less, has its skills negated before it hits the board, and then you can choose a battle card or a Unison and negated skills. And that second effect has no cost. So if they play 2 cards, you can play this and then negate that card's skills and then negate their Unison skills, or you can negate their another battle card skills. It doesn't matter what the energy cost is. Works against Shin Shinran as well. If they play their 1-star ball, they play it off of. They just, you know, they're going like up the chain. You can play this and just negate all of its skills. You can use it in Red Broly, like I said, Dark Broly as well. I used it actually turn 1 against Dark Broly. They went to go play the Toa to search out a ball, and I just played this, stopped it. Like, okay, I guess I'll pass since I can't search. 2 of these are fine. 3, if you know you're going to be playing against a lot of Red Broly, but 2 is kind of, I think, the minimum for that card. This card here, I'm going to end up bumping up to 3. I think I have another one somewhere. I'm going to try to find it while I'm talking. This card is nuts. So it is Vegeta's Final Flash. It is a 15k combo power that also negates the skills of card Ignoring Barrier. This card won me most of my games. Being able to swing in, and then I can play this either with 1 energy or I can take a life and play it for free. So it's a free draw 1 in a sense, 15k combo, and I can negate a card's skills. So having 3 of these I think is the perfect number. I think if you have 4, if you can find a way to fit 4 in the deck, run 4. But this card is one of the best extra cards you can possibly run for yellow, especially since it goes through barrier. Invoker, you can just pop Invoker and then they can't do anything. It's a great card. Definitely would recommend running this. The last 2 cards are the secret rares, so to speak. Cold Bloodlust. It came up quite a bit. It didn't come up ever when I really needed it, though. It came up, I think I played it twice. It's a very good card, but in the current meta, it doesn't really hit everything just because things are coming out for so cheap. And it doesn't hit Xenocell, which is a problem for me. Invoker is not super unpopular, but if you do play against Invoker, it's good. You can turn off Victory Strike, but other than that, it's not great, but it's a one of, so you can just run it in the deck, and if you do end up needing it, it's awesome. If not, you can always side it out. Supreme Kai, I actually use this card more to finish games than I did to play defense. I think I played it once for defense, but it can come out as early as turn 3. When your opponent has 3 or more energy, you can play it out for 1, activate battle, and your opponent cannot attack with battle card with Unisons or leaders. So if they're already attacking with one of those, it doesn't negate the ability. So generally when they're attacking with a battle card, hopefully they attack battle cards first. You can play this and then just turns off their Unison and leaders from being able to attack. I wanted to see it against Reboot Gohan, which I never got to see it, because if I got to see it against the Reboot Gohan, I can just stop him from attacking, and it just buys me a whole turn. The activate main for 1, you can choose this card, all of your opponent's battle cards and their Unison, and send them to the warp, which is very powerful. So it's a 40k body. A lot of the times when I would swing it with my leader, I would swing in with another card. When I'm going for a game, I'd play this out, and it would force my opponent to have to look at this card and go, okay, I need to remove this because this is a 40k combo card that I need to combo over. It's much better to play out for 1 and then swing with it, rather than to combo this card away for 10k, because you have a 30k discrepancy between its power and its combo power. So play this card out instead. Just play it out, and if your opponent taps it, they tap it. If they kill this card, they kill it. That's what happened against the Shin Run player. I played this out, and I forced him to use his haze on this, and then I went in with Bardock Raider's Warcry and my Unison and ended up winning the game. But very, very good, very, very good card. Even if you don't have Xenocell, just run this. I actually think this is better in some matchups than Xenocell. I mean, if I had both, I probably would run Xenocell, not gonna lie. But it's a very good secondary, and also this card will work in any deck, so it has a lot more versatility. Actually, I don't know, Xenocell has pretty high level of versatility right now, but whatever. All right, so sideboard. So like I said, I had 14 cards in the sideboard, I believe. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so I only had 14 cards in the side deck. Didn't really matter. I sided in maybe 4 or 5 cards. So one more Divine Transformation, just in case I really, really needed to see it. One Maki Kabura. If I was going for a turn 4 win, I would use my my Vegeta ability, swing twice, play out my Bardock if I had it, swing with everything I had on board, and I'd play this for 4, swing, and then -4, take one of their battle cards, hopefully the boss monster, switch it to active mode, and then use it to win the game. Other than that, it's a good defensive card because it has blocker, but it doesn't need, this deck doesn't really rely on playing defensively with this. It's more so the Vegeta Unison, so it's just kind of an extra card in there. One Identity Masked Saiyan. You're gonna see a lot of one-ofs in here. This was just for board removal. One Cooler. If I played against Baby Vegeta, not Baby Vegeta, Baby, and they were gonna counter me or do something, I'd play this just to counter their counter. One Ape, because I only have one draw Ape. I played this in, I think I sided this in against Shinran. Since they were able to tap my leader, I needed to have a card where I can pitch to the drop area to draw with. If I had more, probably would run 2 or 3 of these. Not in the main board, because this deck draws a lot, but in sideboard for sure, especially against Hand Destruction. It's a really good card to run against Hand Destruction. 2 Release from Evil, I brought it because I figured I was going to be playing against Reboot Gohan. I sided it in game 2, never saw it. So, but you can blank any card that's attacking. This card basically just defeats the Reboot Gohan, because you can just pop it and then they can't use any of their skills for the turn, so it just buys you a whole turn. But like I said, never saw it. I think I may bump this up to 3 potentially. Getting stuff mixed up here. There we go. Cool. All right, one Absolute Annihilation Son Goku. This card's great. It's hard to say though. So it's really good in certain matchups. It's a 3-drop barrier blocker. I'm sorry, it's a 3-drop barrier deflect unique, not blocker. 20k body. When this card is in play, your opponent, and you have a yellow leader, your opponent cannot activate extra cards unless they tap 1 extra energy. So basically every extra card costs 1 more. So I was gonna side it in against Dark Broly. Yeah, so Power Burst costs 2 for them. The Protect of the People costs 2. Any of the Dark Dragon Balls cost 1. And you play it against any other deck, they have to basically it gives their extra cards exhaustion. So everything costs an extra 1. So even if they're free plays like Dormant or Release from Evil or whatever, they still cost 1. So it has a lot of effect for that. I also kept it because I figured I was gonna be playing against a Invoker player, and this destroys Invoker unless they play Emperor's Death Beam. So I got one of those. 2 Son Gohan and Videl. Again, I think this is another weird tech card that I'm the only yellow player who I've seen play, at least who makes videos. If someone else plays it, awesome, but I've never seen anyone else use this. So it's a, you don't play this card out, you use it for its activate main. So you pitch this, if your leader is yellow, you draw a card, you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards with ignoring barrier and minus them by 5k. So any deck that plays out little weenies that have 5k and barrier, and that's how they use to kind of ramp up their engines, you can use this to basically demolish them. So if you're playing against deck that plays the wings, like any type of slug deck, you can use this to pop them. AOD, you can pop the bibbities. Any deck that runs just small blockers, you can use these to pop that stuff. And there's also just a draw card as well. So this is a really, really good tech card. Just never didn't play against any matchups that needed it, but it's always going to be in my side deck. One Crusher Ball. Just needed an extra card. Vegeta, kind of the same thing. I would run this if I just needed more combo power. And then Crisis Crusher. This card is awesome. So Black Mass Saiyan is the thing. One drop decks. So the Gohan player I played against, I played this out, and it just kind of stopped them from being able to play because one drops cannot attack. When Gogeta Xeno becomes a thing, this is the pure counter to Gogeta Xeno. So you play this card out, and then none of their one drops can attack, and then you can activate main, choose a battle card with a power of 1, and KO it. So every turn you can just kill the card, and then if they can't remove it, you just win. You just end up winning the game. It comes out for free if your opponent has a battle card in play and you have nothing. So you wait for them to play Black Mass Saiyan. You play this card out for 1 energy, and then you just pop it, and you're like, okay, cool. What are you gonna do now? So if they can't remove this, this card ends up being very, very powerful. So again, another very good card you should always run in your side deck in the current meta. But that's what I ran. Like I said, got second place. Only lost to Reboot Gohan. I think this leader is very, very versatile, and I want to keep trying the How to Mastery package. I just need to figure out a better way to run the smaller part of the deck. The only other card I would run would be Basil. Getting Basil into the deck would feel very, very good, being able to draw that off of Universe 9 Assemble and then swing twice. But anything else other than that, I think the deck's, I don't want to say perfect, but I think it runs very smoothly. With How to Mastery, you have to play differently around your energy. And when you're going to play Path to Greatness and when you're going to go into that kind of stuff. So, yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of it. You guys will see a deck list down below as well in its entirety, so go check that out. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.